King crabs, a prized seafood, are often caught in cold waters. Especially in Alaska, king crab fishing requires specialized techniques and equipment. Fishermen use metal or plastic traps, which are box-shaped and contain food to attract crabs. These traps are dropped into the sea in areas where king crabs live. After a period of time, the traps are pulled up and the king crabs are harvested. This work requires patience and skill, as safety must be ensured when working at sea in harsh weather conditions. King crab fishing boats often use a system of cables and machines to pull the traps up, which helps to minimize fatigue and risk for fishermen. After being caught, king crabs are immediately preserved to maintain their freshness and bring high value to the market. After king crabs are harvested, they are often put into cold storage or iced for immediate preservation, avoiding death and loss of quality. King crab fishing boats often have modern cold storage systems to keep the crabs fresh during long trips. The preservation process is very important because king crabs are often exported to international markets with high value, especially markets in Asia and North America. King crab fishing is not only a risky profession but also requires a deep understanding of the habitat of this crab species. Fishermen need to determine the right time and area where king crabs are to ensure efficiency and avoid overexploitation, affecting the sustainable development of the crab species. Therefore, protecting aquatic resources and complying with exploitation regulations are also very important in the king crab fishing industry. In addition to protecting aquatic resources, king crab fishing also needs to comply with strict regulations on the size and weight of crabs allowed to be caught. Fishermen are only allowed to harvest crabs that reach a minimum size, helping to protect the species and ensure sustainable development. At the same time, some areas may apply fishing bans during certain seasons to give crabs time to reproduce and develop. The process of catching king crab also faces many challenges from nature. Harsh weather conditions, rough seas and large waves can make traveling and working at sea very dangerous. In addition, the management and operation of king crab fishing fleets also requires close coordination and good organization to ensure the safety of fishermen and work efficiency. Finally, although king crab fishing brings great economic value, it also requires close management and supervision to maintain a balance between exploitation and environmental protection. These efforts help not only protect the king crab but also ensure a sustainable source of income for fishermen and the community in the future. In addition to the above factors, king crab fishing also faces challenges from technological developments and environmental protection requirements. In recent years, many companies and fishermen have adopted new methods and technologies to minimize negative impacts on marine ecosystems. One notable innovation is the use of crab traps that do not damage the seabed. Helping to minimize the destruction of sensitive seabed ecosystems. At the same time, sustainable fishing methods also help increase the regeneration capacity of king crab populations, protecting resources in the long term. In addition, king crab harvesting is also regulated by international organizations and local authorities to maintain a responsible fishing industry. Measures such as fishing permits, controlling the number of crabs that can be harvested each year, and monitoring the reproduction of crabs are all implemented to limit overexploitation. Thanks to these strategies and regulations, king crab fishing has gradually become a sustainable model, not only bringing economic benefits to fishermen but also contributing to protecting precious marine resources for future generations. In addition to applying environmental protection measures, monitoring and management of king crab fishing also includes implementing detailed monitoring and reporting systems. Fishermen must fully record information about each fishing trip, including the number of crabs harvested. The fishing area, and weather conditions during the work. This data will be checked and analyzed by the authorities to ensure that exploitation does not exceed safety limits. And policies can be adjusted if necessary. On the other hand, maintaining the quality of king crab after catching is also very important. To meet the requirements of the consumer market, king crab must be preserved in the best condition right from the time of harvest. Fishing boats often use immediate refrigeration methods to maintain the freshness of the crab. Some king crab processing plants even apply modern technologies such as quick freezing to retain the nutritional value and characteristic flavor of the crab. In addition, an important factor in the sustainable development of the king crab fishery is to promote cooperation between countries and international organizations. King crab is not only a resource of a country, but also a global common asset. Therefore, king crab producing countries need to cooperate closely to develop unified regulations and protect this resource from overexploitation and population decline. Thanks to efforts in environmental protection, improved fishing methods and enhanced international cooperation, the king crab fishery can develop sustainably, bringing economic benefits to fishermen while ensuring the long-term conservation and development of this crab species in the marine ecosystem. Another important factor in the sustainable development of the king crab fishery is educating and raising fishermen's awareness of the importance of protecting marine resources. Training programs on sustainable fishing techniques, environmental protection and legal regulations related to king crab exploitation are being implemented in many fishing areas. These programs help fishermen better understand the impact of overfishing on marine ecosystems and the importance of maintaining ecological balance. In addition, scientific research organizations also play an indispensable role in providing new scientific data and knowledge about king crab, helping management agencies and fishermen have accurate information to make the right decisions. Studies on king crab biology, life cycle, habitat and population resilience are important factors in developing rational exploitation strategies and effective protection. At the same time, with the development of technology, the king crab fishing industry has also applied modern tools to monitor and check the origin of crabs on the market. Identification systems such as barcodes, electronic chips or blockchain are being used to trace the origin and verify the legality of king crab, helping to prevent illegal fishing and ensure that the product reaches consumers is completely legal and safe. Ultimately, developing the king crab fishery in a sustainable way is not only an economic benefit, but also a shared responsibility of the whole society. Every fisherman, manager, scientist and consumer can contribute to the protection of this valuable resource. When all parties cooperate and take action, the king crab fishery will not only maintain its economic value but also ensure the long-term development of the king crab species. Contributing to the protection of marine biodiversity. Furthermore, in the context of climate change and increasingly severe environmental impacts, the king crab fishery faces new challenges. Climate change causes changes in seawater temperature, leading to changes in the distribution and behavior of king crabs. This can affect the determination of suitable fishing areas and change the harvest season. These changes require fishermen and managers to continuously monitor and adjust fishing strategies to suit the actual situation. One solution being studied is the application of sensor technology and modern monitoring systems to monitor the king crab habitat and the factors affecting them. Undersea sensors can provide data on water temperature, salinity, oxygen levels and other ecological indicators, giving scientists and fishermen accurate information to predict the movement trends of king crabs and determine the appropriate time to harvest. These technologies also help reduce waste and negative environmental impacts. Along with the application of technology, initiatives to reduce risks to king crabs are also increasingly focused. For example, measures to change the design of crab traps, using traps that can release young or undersized crabs, have helped protect immature crabs, allowing them to continue to grow and reproduce. This not only protects crab populations but also helps maintain a stable supply for the industry in the future. In addition, international cooperation policies are becoming increasingly important. Countries that harvest king crab need to work closely to develop common policies, such as agreements on catch limits, regulations on fishing seasons and environmental protection measures. This is especially important as king crab populations often move across the seas of many countries, requiring coordination to prevent illegal fishing and protect common resources. In summary, maintaining and developing the king crab fishery sustainably is a process that requires coordination between fishermen, scientists, management agencies, and the international community, through the application of advanced technologies. Reasonable fishing policies and environmental protection measures. The king crab fishery can develop strongly without harming the marine ecosystem. This is the long-term path to ensure that king crab resources are maintained and developed in the future. In addition to efforts on environmental protection and sustainable exploitation, an indispensable factor in developing the king crab fishery is to increase the value and application in product processing. In addition to selling fresh king crab, the crab processing industry has grown strongly, providing ready-made products such as frozen king crab, steamed king crab, canned king crab and many high-end crab dishes. This not only increases the economic value of king crab but also makes the product more accessible to consumers around the world. With the increasing demand for king crab in the international market, building an effective distribution and logistics system is very important. King crab products must be transported under strict cold storage conditions to ensure product quality when they reach consumers. This requires the transportation industry to invest heavily in cold storage systems, specialized ships, as well as fast transportation services to maintain the freshness of the crab. In addition, developing tourism related to king crab fishing is also a new trend that many regions are focusing on. Tourists can join king crab fishing tours, witness the fishing process and enjoy dishes made from crab right in the fishing areas. This not only brings additional income to the community but also helps raise awareness of the value of king crab and the efforts of fishermen in maintaining this fishing profession. Thus, king crab fishing is not only a pure industry but also has positive impacts on the economy, society and environment. For this industry to develop sustainably, there needs to be synchronous coordination between all parties, from fishermen, scientists, management agencies to consumers and the international community. Every step in the process of catching, processing and protecting resources must be carried out carefully and responsibly, towards a long-term and sustainable development future for king crab. For the king crab fishing industry to truly develop sustainably in the future, the application of innovative solutions and process improvements is also very important. One potential solution is the development of king crab aquaculture models, to reduce pressure on wild fishing and increase supply. Although this is a relatively new field, with advances in aquaculture technology, king crab farming can become an alternative to wild fishing, protecting wild king crab populations and ensuring a stable supply to the market. At the same time, scientific research on the ecology, genetics of king crab and environmental factors affecting the development of this species will help fishermen apply appropriate fishing methods, thereby optimizing production without harming resources. Research can also provide recommendations on how to develop marine protected areas and breeding grounds for king crab. Ensuring that fishermen do not fish in areas that are important for the species' recovery. In addition, the adoption of sustainability certifications for king crab is becoming an important trend. Certifications such as the Marine Stewardship Council, MSC, allow consumers to know that the king crab they buy comes from sustainable fishing methods. This not only increases the value of the product but also encourages fishermen to implement environmentally friendly fishing methods, thereby promoting the industry to develop in a responsible direction. An indispensable factor is the role of communities and environmental protection organizations in raising awareness and monitoring king crab fishing activities. Non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and wildlife conservation groups can help promote awareness campaigns about the importance of protecting king crab and marine ecosystems. In this way, not only fishermen but also the consumer community will have a better understanding of the impact of their actions on marine resources.